Happy Monday. Today we are joined by Homeland Security Advisor and Deputy National Security Advisor, Dr. Liz Sherwood-Randall, and Deputy National Security Advisor for Cyber and Emerging Technologies, Ann Neuberger. I know you all know who they are, so I'm going to skip the introductions so we have more time for questions. We have very limited time, but we'll try to take as many as possible. So with that, I'll turn it over to Liz.
It's great to be with you today. Thank you, Jen. I have an update for you on the Colonial Pipeline and what the Biden administration is doing to provide assistance through a whole-of-government effort. On Friday evening, May 7th, Colonial Pipeline reported that its pipeline system had been subject to a ransomware cyber attack. Colonial chose to shut down its pipeline operations as a precautionary measure and to ensure that the ransomware could not migrate from business computer systems to those that control and operate the pipeline. We've been in ongoing contact with Colonial, and the President continues to be regularly briefed on the incident and our work. Colonial is currently working with its private cybersecurity consultants to assess potential damage and to determine when it is safe to bring the pipeline back online. Thus far, Colonial has told us that it has not suffered damage and can be brought back online relatively quickly, but that safety is a priority, given that it has never before taken the entire pipeline down. Beginning on Friday night, soon after we learned of the shutdown, the White House convened an interagency team that included the Department of Energy, which is the lead agency for incident response in this case, the Department of Homeland Security's Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, the FBI, the Department of Transportation, Pipeline Safety and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration, the Department of the Treasury, the Department of Defense, and other agencies. To give you a sense of what we've been doing together since that first meeting, we have met throughout the weekend. The Department of Energy Information Agency, or EIA, is in contact with state and local agencies to assess current supply and impacts due to the shutdown. DOE has also convened the oil and natural gas and electric sector utility partners to share details about the ransomware attack and discuss recommended measures to mitigate further incidents across the industry. DHS's CISA is preparing a release to go to the broader critical infrastructure community to ensure it has visibility into the ransomware attack, and it's taking appropriate measures to protect its networks. Colonial is responsible for safely returning the pipeline to service, and our role in the federal government is to take proactive steps to analyze the impacts of the shutdown on the delivery of gasoline, diesel, and aviation fuel in states that are dependent on the pipeline, and to identify federal options for alleviating supply shortfalls should they develop. For example, to help address potential supply disruptions, the Department of Transportation issued an hours of service waiver yesterday, which provides greater flexibility to drivers transporting gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, and other refined petroleum products across 17 states, as well as the District of Columbia. Right now, there is not a supply shortage. We are preparing for multiple possible contingencies because that's our job, especially on the Homeland Security team, and considering what additional steps may be useful to mitigate any potential disruptions to supply. This weekend's events put the spotlight on the fact that our nation's critical infrastructure is largely owned and operated by private sector companies. When those companies are attacked, they serve as the first line of defense, and we depend on the effectiveness of their defenses. To improve the cybersecurity of our critical infrastructure, the Biden administration has already launched a high-priority initiative to collaborate with our private sector partners to harden our defenses and to build our nation's resilience. And that is a perfect segue to my colleague Ann Neuberger, our Deputy National Security Advisor for Cyber and Emerging Technologies. Thanks.
Thank you, Liz. Good morning, everyone. So building on Liz's comments, as you know, on Friday, Colonial shut proactively its pipeline operations as a precautionary measure to ensure ransomware would not spread to its sensitive operational networks. In response, we're taking a multi-pronged and whole-of-government response to this incident and to ransomware overall. First, we're actively engaged with the company and offered support as needed to restore their systems. Right now, they've not asked for cyber support for the federal government, but we remain available to meet their cybersecurity needs. Second, we're aggressively investigating the incident and its culprits. As part of their work today, FBI released a flash alert with indicators of compromise and mitigation measures once infected. The FBI identified the ransomware as the dark side variant, which they've been investigating since October of last year. It's a ransomware as a service variant, where criminal affiliates conduct attacks and then share the proceeds with the ransomware developers. We recommend all critical infrastructure owners and operators use the indicators that came out in the FBI flash to protect themselves. And if other entities are infected, please notify the FBI. Third, the government is convening stakeholders more broadly to ensure everybody has the information needed to protect themselves and to rapidly share information. This morning, the Department of Energy convened calls with the electricity and oil and gas sectors to keep them informed. The Departments of Energy, Transportation, and DHS, and others will be sharing further indicators of compromise with the Sector Information Sharing and Analysis Centers, or ISACs. And the Department of Energy will be holding additional calls with critical infrastructure sector owners, as well as state and local leaders, to ensure everyone has the latest information about how to protect themselves. Fourth, we're taking the threats posed by ransomware seriously with several initiatives. First, we'll focus on industrial control systems. Critical infrastructure, as Liz noted, in the United States is largely owned and operated by the private sector, which determines their cybersecurity protections are applied to their systems. Under that context, in mid-April, the administration launched a new public-private initiative to enhance the security of critical infrastructure systems and improve visibility across their operational control systems, the systems on which all Americans depend. The Department of Energy had the lead for the first 100-day sprint focused on the utility sector, and we will follow with follow-on sprints with natural gas pipelines, water, and other sectors. The administration encourages all private sector owners of critical infrastructure to focus on improving cybersecurity, and the government remains open and willing as a partner to support those efforts. Second, in tackling ransomware, we're working to disrupt ransomware infrastructure. The FBI recently worked with international partners to disrupt two particular strains of ransomware, the Emotet and NetWalker strains. More recently, DOJ has established a ransomware task force to ensure it can better investigate and prosecute ransomware actors. Third, CISA is leading a counter-ransomware sprint, which is focused on helping small and medium-sized companies, who are often the targets of ransomware, better protect themselves. Finally, we're pursuing greater international cooperation. Ransomware affects countries around the world to address ransomware, because transnational criminals are most often the perpetrators of these crimes, and they often leverage global infrastructure and global money laundering networks. Indeed, to combat the exploitation of virtual currencies that are often used for payment in ransomware, the U.S. Treasury has also been leading international efforts, including driving development and adoption of virtual asset standards under the Financial Action Task Force. With those updates, I welcome your questions. Turning it over to Jen and Liz. Thank you for your time today.
Okay, Amr, kick us off.